Hello, and welcome to Mama's Moments, presented by Women's Health Physical Therapy. My good friend, Dr. Cora Hewitt, has asked me to be the first guest speaker for Mama's Moments, so I am honored to do so. My name is Dr. Sara Bolden. I am the owner and founder of Women First Rehabilitation in Woodstock, Georgia. I treat patients with pelvic pain, pelvic floor dysfunction, bladder and bowel conditions, pretty much everything that you would normally see at Women's Health Physical Therapy, I also treat here in Georgia at Women First Rehabilitation. So I'm going to talk with you a little bit about a topic that is very taboo in today's world, but is really important for everyone to know. And the topic is sex or intimacy. I have written 2 books on the intimacy and the problems sometimes that come with intimacy and how the female body responds and acts to sexual touch and how couples can connect better. So the first book that I've written is called What a Girl Wants, The Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex. And the second book I have written is still in editing, so I'm going to hold on that. But basically that book is also on how couples, so it'll talk a little bit about men's sexual health as well as women's sexual health and how couples can connect on a more intimate level. So I'm going to start by first saying that sex should never hurt. Sometimes I have patients that come and say, well, I had sex, but I had pain with sex, but I just kind of expected that to be the case. And it's not the case, even after you have had a child. Now, sex after having children can sometimes be painful, and it's very common, but it should not be considered normal in terms of, well, we just have to live with this and, so sad for you. Also, as women are aging and we are going through hormonal changes, you shouldn't just, decide that sex is painful because you're very dry or you're getting older and you hadn't had sex very often. So therefore it's okay to have sex. To have pain with sex. That should not be. So I want you to first to know that number one, sex should not be painful, okay? There are experts like myself, Dr. Cora and her team, that can help with that. And it is something that is treatable. So first know that sex should be pleasurable. It should be full of enjoyment, and that you and your partner should be able to fully just engage and not be thinking, is this going to hurt? Do I need to stop? Do I need to, reapply lubrication or something like that nature? So know that painful intercourse is common. It's actually the number 2 complaint at GYN offices, but it is not normal. So you can get treatment for that. It is treatable, and it's something that you can restore and really start to enjoy the act of lovemaking again, okay? Second, you have to get your brain on board, especially I'm talking to the women out there. You have to get this on board to really have good sex. Now, let me give you some examples. Number 1, we have a very unfortunate multitasking mode in our brains. And so sometimes we can be thinking about one task and then we're thinking about other tasks. The same can apply when you're having sex, okay? So you could be all into it and then all of a sudden you're thinking, did I put the laundry in the dryer? Oh, I forgot to call, so-and-so about that bill. Or you could think, did the kids, are they awake? Are they hearing me? And you're thinking about other things during an intimacy moment, and that can really pull you out of the moment. So much so that you can become dry, very dry, just by thinking about other things. You could also be have an inability to maybe have an orgasm because your brain is not in the moment. Now, if you really want to maximize your potential to have the best connection, the best intimacy, the best orgasm, your brain must be on board, okay? What can I do if I'm one of those people that are struggling to keep my brain on board? Well, a little tip would be to start to replay some of the pleasure that you're feeling and confirm it that it feels good to you. So maybe if you're getting kissed on the neck or the chest or something, and you could be saying, that feels good. Affirm what you're feeling. I feel warm. I feel excited. I love when he kisses me here, or he touches me there. And when you start to think about what was happening, it will help you stay engaged. It would also help with your ability to stay aroused during that whole cycle. Okay? So you want to get your brain on board. All right. So how can you prepare your body for intimacy? Now, we women can really do ourselves a disservice by a few things. Number one, you have to stop excessively washing your vaginas, okay? Maybe I should say little girl parts because I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say on this, but you want to stop washing your little girl parts on the inside and between the lip area, okay? You need to be thinking, I am a self-cleaning oven and I am able to be clean just by water, okay? I know some of you are gasping right now, like, oh, are you kidding me? That's impossible. It is not impossible, okay? When you wash down there, you are washing out healthy bacteria. You are creating more of a dry environment, okay? And you're even changing some pH down there, which is very helpful for protecting you from growing some bad yeast or bacteria. You just need water. That's what I mean when I say you're like a self-cleaning oven, okay? You just need water there, all right? Now, inevitably, someone tries to get me. They're like, what about my bottom? Okay, your bottom can use soap. You can use soap. A lot of bacteria comes down there, out of there. So yes, you can use soap. But down here on the front, just water. Trust me on this. Don't be excessive. Don't get yourself some like lavender scented soaps and do all your cleansing. Just water. Now, on the same note, I'm going to challenge you. Do not use douches. Do not use baby wipes. Do not use cleansing cloths. Do not use any perfumed anythings down there. Just water. Trust me. You will not get some weird thing. You are made for just water. Sometimes irritations are ceased just from using that tip. Now, how can you prepare your body? So don't use soap down there, but definitely use lubrication, okay? So there are a lot of lubrication options out there on the market, okay? I have only one or two that I really like to recommend on a regular basis, but there are some others that I like that are out there. But let me tell you about the one or two. Number one, coconut oil. It is the best for your tissues. It is all natural. If you get the organic kind, that's a bonus. But it is sterile. You can use it down there. It is the best lubricant, okay? It's antifungal, it's antibacterial, it's antimicrobial, and it's anti-inflammatory. Why wouldn't you want to use coconut oil? It's fantastic, okay? And it's cheap. If you look at it per ounce, coconut oil is way cheaper than like if the other stuff that's on the market, okay? Now, those are, and the other one that I like, but maybe not as much, is olive oil. Olive oil is not as great. It sometimes gets messy, sometimes stains the sheets. I wouldn't want to use it. Now, these two oil-based lubricants that I just mentioned, coconut oil and olive oil, you have to be careful because if you're using condoms, they will break down condoms. So don't want to do that, all right? Also, sometimes people are like, hey, me and my spouse are trying to get pregnant and, oils tend to potentially slow down motility of the sperm. So you probably wouldn't want to do that as either. So what I would recommend in that case is a water-based lubricant. Now there's a few water-based lubricants that I like. One is Pre-Seed if you're trying to get pregnant. Pre-Seed is the name of that lubricant. And the other one that I like is called Slippery Stuff. really inventive name, but slippery stuff works really well. It's paraben-free and glycerin-free. Did you know that glycerin is found in a lot of lubricants? Why is that a big deal? Because glycerin is a sugar, and a sugar in a nice, warm, wet, damp environment has a potential to grow yeast, okay? And we don't need help growing yeast in that area. So you want to check what you're using and make sure it does not have glycerin in it. And so slippery stuff is a great water-based lubricant that can work really well. And then one other lubricant I'll tell you is called Uber Lube. It's a silicone-based lubricant, and that stays on pretty well. However, if you like to use like certain toys in the bedroom, the silicone, if it's a silicone toy, you can't use a silicone lubricant on a silicone toy. So you would have to use a water-based lubricant like slippery stuff or something like that, okay? All right, so that's number 2. Third way to help prepare your body for sexual enjoyment is to relax. A lot of times, women carry a lot of weight on their shoulders for many reasons. It could be the children, it could be for the marriage, it could be for the finances, it could be for the, other moms in the PTA group, it can be for their family members. We tend to carry a lot of weight on our shoulders, and that hinders our ability to fully engage when we're trying to be intimate. So I want to challenge you with this. If you sense that you feel anxious or stressed, don't avoid sex. Allow yourself to go into some breathing and meditation or prayer or go for exercise. Try to burn that negative energy off. And that way, when you come for intimacy, you're more receptive, you're more responsive, and you'll be able to have a better libido and a better arousal throughout the whole thing, okay? Also, I would say one of the biggest challenges for women is we tend not to be fully the receiver, okay? So sometimes when we're when we're connecting with our partner, we're like trying to be the giver, like always, give. And then when it comes time to be the receiver, we think we're on some sort of like timeline. We're like, if we're the receiver and things are not going as quick as we think they should go, we think, okay, forget about it. Don't worry. We'll just do this another time. And so we kind of push ourselves off to the side. But I want to challenge you because this is a really, really important aspect in relationships. Generally speaking, your partner wants to bring pleasure to you. Generally speaking, they desire to see you have an orgasm or to connect in a really intimate way. And if you're thinking, man, this is taking 10 minutes, or this is taking 15 minutes, I probably should have, responded by now, and you try to hurry that along, most likely your body will just be like, nah, not today. And you'll kind of push it to the side. So allow yourself to be the receiver and allow yourself to have the time it takes to get to an area of pleasure, okay? And I want you to allow yourself to try new things, new positions, and new things in your intimacy. Sometimes we get in these kind of ruts. I call them ruts. Like you get in this rut and you're like, well, we have sex this way all the time, so we're going to just keep doing it this way all the time. Well, as we age, things shift, bodies change, and things that you used to like may not be what really brings you to the heightened pleasure that you're looking for. So you need to be open. You need to be thinking, let me try something new. Let me try to a different position. Let me try to be more the initiator and more, be more of an initiator. Let me try different lubrications, things of that nature. And so allow yourself to be a little bit more open and have fun. I mean, sometimes sex doesn't have to be so serious. We don't have to be like, okay, ready, let's go. Okay, sorry for that. Hold on just 1 second. So yes, you want to have fun, and laugh during your intimacy. Sometimes it's great. Like I said, you don't always want sex to be like, okay, let's have this. Let me put my serious sex face on while you come and put your serious sex face on, and bam. No, just enjoy it. If you have a sense of humor, bring it out. That's what your spouse really likes about you anyways, right? Your sense of humor. But then you can incorporate it into intimacy, and it's awesome. All right? So, it doesn't always have to be fun and games, but, throw some fun and games in there every once in a while. It makes for an environment that people want to engage again and again because it made them laugh. It made them feel connected. So, anyways, that's what I'm going to say about that. All right. Now, let's switch gears for a minute. I have 3 questions that I was asked, and I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I'm addressing those questions. The first question is, what position is best after a C-section? All right. Now, for some women, their C-section doesn't bother them, and or it's like numb. They just don't have the same sensation there, and it's not a big deal. But for others, it is a big deal because it's very sensitive, it's very tender. They don't like the pressure of a body on top of them because it's too much. And so you're thinking, like, if we normally have sex in a kind of a missionary position, you can do some other positions that will help. For instance, the spoon position. So now the person is behind you and you have an entry from behind, okay? And that rear entry would obviously not hinder the pressure of a C-section. Now, sometimes if the female is on top, again, if she's not laying flat on him, then there's no pressure because she's on top and she's sitting upright. So those kind of positions, either from a behind kind of entry position, or if she's away and her torso can be free, those tend to be more comfortable. All right. Second question, it says, what are non-penetrative options for couples who cannot tolerate or have penetrative sex due to pain? Okay. Now, there's a couple little things that I like to tell people. One would be like you could use some sort of toy device that you could that would allow let's say the female to have some orgasm through clitoral stimulation, but not penetrative in the vaginal canal. So those are the kind of things that can help with, like, there's lots and lots and lots of different things, but just even something small. If you're a little bit intimidated by toys in general, you could, use something a little bit small and intimate or smaller that doesn't seem to be so like, what does this do? And how do I get this to go back to its normal position? Things like that, which are a little bit intimidating, especially if you're not used to using something like that in the bedroom. The other thing was probably my favorite recommendation, because then the guy can really feel like, hey, I'm part of this, right? Is lube his penis up well, okay? And the female would be on her back with her legs supported, and then she would control the penis on the outside of the vulva, which would include maybe the clitoris and some other areas of the vulva, and stimulate through the use of his lubricated penis, okay? So if you want to choose to do that, then he's getting aroused because there are 2,000 to 4,000 nerve endings on the tip of the penis. For females, there are 6,000 to 8,000 nerve endings on the glans clitoris, which is the clitoris part that you see. So she's gonna enjoy it, he's gonna enjoy it, everybody gets a happy ending. So I like that one recommendation, because then the guys feel like they're not being substituted by a toy. Although toys are fine, a lot of guys are cool with it, a lot of partners are cool with it, and so that's something, okay? And then last question is, what do you suggest for intimacy or sex when someone is leaking urine either during or after intercourse? Well, first of all, I want you to know that urinary incontinence can be cured, okay? You do not have to endure maybe the embarrassment of having urinary incontinence while you're having intimacy, okay? Sometimes incontinence happens because there's pressure against the bladder during intimacy. So like, let's say in a missionary position. So sometimes just changing your position can also make there's less pressure, and so then you don't have that incidence of incontinence, okay? Number 2, it's really, really important that you have regular bowel movements, because there's the rectum and the vagina and the bladder. They're all really close together. And if the rectum is full of stool, then there's added pressure, and then you try to add a penis. It's just way more pressure in that environment, which would then make incontinence a little bit more prevalent if you struggled with that. So make sure that your bowels are moving daily, okay? Especially the days that you're having intimacy, all right? Also, if this is something that happens on a regular basis and you're like, I am going through therapy, but I'm not quite where I need to be, but I want to be intimate, then make sure that you do a few things like remove bladder irritants from your diet. Get rid of caffeine, get rid of carbonation, maybe pull out some citrus fruits and juices that you normally have. Remove those. Those are all bladder irritants. Those things can add to that and compound that problem, okay? And also understand that there are hormonal components that are related to urinary incontinence. So you need to make sure, where's your hormonal status? And if you haven't sought a provider to help you with hormones, please do, because it's really, really critical that you're able to be able to do that. Now, sometimes there is something called female ejaculation, okay? And it is not urine, although it's coming out the same area, okay? And that ejaculate is not full of urine, like I just said. It has like just normal type of, how do I say this? Sexual chemical milieu and like semen without sperm, okay? That's basically what it is, all right? So those, sometimes when females have orgasms and that comes out, it makes you think, oh my goodness, I must be peeing on myself. And it's really not pee. It is a female ejaculate. And that is fine. That is normal. You can't really, unless you don't want to have an orgasm, that's not going to stop that, okay? All right. So I want to encourage you to comment in the below. If you do not want to comment for everyone to see, I would like to encourage you to email me, okay, your questions. And my email is my first name, Sara, S-A-R-A, .Bolden, my last name, B-O-L-D-E-N, 02 @gmail.com. Sara.Bolden 02 @gmail.com. Okay? If you want a copy of my book, What a Girl Wants, The Good Girl's Guide to Great Sex, a lot of the tips I just told you on this video are in this book, and it's on Amazon. You can purchase it on Amazon. You can purchase it on Books A Million. You can purchase it on I think that's it. Amazon, Books A Million. On my website, I think you can click on it. My website for my company is womenfirstrehab.com. Okay. And I will be happy to tell you answer any of the questions that you have. I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Cora Hewitt, my good friend, for inviting me to be the guest speaker here at Mama's Moments. Okay, and these tips have been presented by Women's Health Physical Therapy in Richmond, Virginia, and we look forward to seeing you at the next Mama's Moments. So stay tuned and have a fantastic day.